let's speak to Kerry Hopkins, CEO of Broadcast Ready, a PR agency which works with celebrities, MPs, royalty, and companies as well. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So he's issued an apology. What are your thoughts?
He's got himself in hot water again. This time, though, my initial thoughts were, what has he done? And then I looked at it was because he'd retweeted something, sorry, reposted something, which he probably thought was credible because it was a lawyer talking about Zionism. So he probably thought this is a lawyer. But then it had the image of the rat on it. Now, I would say the majority of people do not know what that rat means. I certainly didn't know that was offensive. And through this story, I've looked at what it means. And it was so people who are 80 years old and German, they're going to know that this was Nazi propaganda, because it's to depict Jewish people as pests that need to be exterminated, which is completely abhorrent. However, the majority of people, unless you're Jewish or you've got an interest in this, are just not going to know that's what that meant. So this is the complexity of this. Now, what is great with mainstream media is everything is verified at least twice before it's put out. So this would have been picked up if it was put out via the normal media channels. But as we're dealing with social media, things are getting posted, which we then find out that was really offensive. You shouldn't have done that. And he's now apologized because he didn't realize, he says that the rat was offensive. So how can we avoid this? Did you want to ask me a question?
He has, as you said, you started off your answer saying he
Hmm.
has been here before, and the first time he was temporarily suspended from the BBC, March 2023, after an impartiality row over a post in which he said language used to promote a government asylum policy was not dissimilar to that used by Germany in the 1930s. And then the BBC social media rules were rewritten to say presenters of flagship programs outside of news and current affairs, because this was the point, wasn't it? Lots of people said, well, he's not, a news journalist, he doesn't do current affairs. But they said, right, we're going to tighten this up, and even if you do present Match of the Day, you have a particular responsibility to respect the BBC's impartiality because of their profile on the BBC. Should he not have known that reposting something like that, even if you didn't understand what the imagery was potentially divisive and potentially something he shouldn't do?
I'm not in Gary Lineker's head, but what I would say is that he just needs to stop posting about this altogether, because whether he knew it was offensive, he knew it was risky, it's just getting him into hot water. It's upsetting people, it's putting the BBC's reputation on the line as well, again. So I think there needs to be a policy adapted by the BBC that anything that is controversial like this and could upset people, just steer well clear away from it on social media.
But many
That
people
would
will
be the
argue, and are arguing, we've been here before. I'll give you some examples. The campaign against anti Semitism has called for Lineker to be sacked, saying the BBC has turned a blind eye for too long. It's long past time for him to go. He must go now. Phil Rosenberg, president of the Board of Deputies of British Jews, says the presenter's empty and belated apology is the first after years of baiting the Jewish community, just as levels of anti Semitism saw. His use of social media has been unacceptable for too long. Because we have been here before and he has been reprimanded for this, and he said he understood the rules. This is the issue now. Is the temperature too high for the BBC to just step away from this one this time? I know Tim Davie, the Director General, has said, he has been reminded of the rules, but for many people, that's not enough.
I agree with you. Yeah, I think this is another stepping in hot water scenario that could simply have been avoided if he'd just not been posting about it at all. So this needs serious, meetings now at the BBC, which I'm sure are happening, and what they're going to do. He's not renewed his contract, has he, as a main presenter, but they are going to be getting him back. So I just think, yeah, more meetings, more discussions, and new rules need to be put in place. Um,
right now. Yeah,
Well,
it's just
Kerry, thank you.
causing
Thank you. Sorry, you
much
finish off.
upset for. No, just saying it's just causing too much upset for people, particularly yeah, so I think it could be avoided. So that's my thoughts on the matter. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Kerry Hopkins, their CEO of Broadcast Ready. It's a PR agency which works with celebrities, MPs, royalty and the like. Keep your views coming into us, 85058, just to say Gary Lineker stepping down from Match of the Day, of course, but he is due to present coverage of the World Cup. So that is still ongoing. 13 minutes to 6 now.